The obsidian dais hummed with barely contained energy, resonating beneath the clawed feet of the triumvirate. Xyler, the strategist, traced a circuit diagram on the crystalline surface with a trembling digit, his multifaceted eyes flicking between the projected sensor readings and the impassive faces of his colleagues. Outside the colossal chamber, the crimson sun of Xylos bled across the horizon, casting long, distorted shadows that danced with the flickering emergency lights. A low thrum vibrated through the hall, the telltale sign of the planetary shield straining against an unknown force. Their arrival was unexpected, Xyler rasped, his voice echoing in the cavernous space. The projections, the models, they all failed to account for this. Beside him, Zorgan, the emissary, shifted his bulk, the iridescent plates of his carapace grinding against each other. Unexpected? Strategist, your understatement is insulting. The projections suggested a species barely capable of interstellar travel. We prepared for a primitive, perhaps aggressive, raiding party. What we face, it defies comprehension. He gestured with a thick limb towards the holographic display dominating the center of the chamber. Upon it swam a sea of chaotic energy signatures, impossible geometries woven into a tapestry of technological audacity. The source of the disturbance, a single vessel, dwarfed by Xylos' orbital defenses, yet radiating a power that made the ancient planetary shield buckle and groan. Third member of the triumvirate, Lyra the Seer, remained silent, her avian features a mask of profound contemplation. Her kind, the Arav, were renowned for their precognitive abilities, their subtle manipulation of the cosmic currents of fate. But now even she seemed lost, her usual serenity replaced by a flicker of something akin to fear in her golden eyes. "The visions, they are clouded," she finally whispered, her voice barely audible above the rising hum of the planetary shield. "I see potential. Unimaginable potential, but also oblivion, a future fractured, unwritten." She closed her eyes, as if battling against a torrent of conflicting possibilities. "They are a paradox." The ship, designated only as Earth Vessel 1 by the panicking sensor arrays, continued its silent approach. It was sleek and utilitarian, devoid of the ostentatious ornamentation favored by most galactic civilizations. Its design spoke of purpose, of efficiency, of a terrifyingly pragmatic understanding of physics. The Xylosian High Command had scrambled its most elite interceptor squadrons, but their energy weapons seemed to dissipate harmlessly against the vessel's unknown shielding technology. Attempts at communication had been met with an unnerving silence. Xyler tapped the crystalline dais, bringing up a magnified image of the vessel. He focused on a small, almost insignificant detail, a series of intricate engravings along the ship's hull. They weren't Xylosian, nor did they match any known galactic language or symbology. They seemed almost deliberately obscure, hinting at a history and culture that defied easy categorization. "Their technology, it is unlike anything we have encountered," he murmured, his mind racing. "It is not merely advanced. It is different, as if they operate on a fundamentally different understanding of the universe." Zorgan snorted. "Different? Strategists do not romanticize the unknown. They are undoubtedly probing our defenses, seeking a weakness. We must prepare for immediate and decisive action. Unleash the orbital cannons. Target their vessel with the full might of Xylosian firepower. We cannot afford to show weakness." Lyra opened her eyes, her gaze sharp and intense. "No, emissary, you misunderstand the situation. Force will only escalate the danger. These beings, they are not like us. Their motivations are not driven by conquest or greed. They operate on a different plane, a higher level of understanding. Violence will only confirm our own limitations." The debate raged, mirroring the rising panic that gripped Xylosian society. News of the Earth Vessel 1's arrival had spread like wildfire, igniting ancient fears and prejudices. The Xylosians, a proud and ancient race, had long considered themselves the apex of galactic civilization. The sudden appearance of a species that defied all their expectations shattered their carefully constructed worldview. Xyler watched the arguments unfold, his mind grappling with the implications. He knew that both Zorgan and Lyra had valid points. To underestimate these humans would be a fatal error, but to attack them without understanding their intentions could unleash consequences that even the seer could not foresee. He weighed the options, the fate of Xylos resting on his decision. As the Earth Vessel 1 drew closer, a single transmission cut through the cacophony of alarms and panicked chatter. It was a simple message, clear and concise, delivered in perfect Xylosian. "We come in peace. We wish to understand." The silence that followed was profound. broken only by the hum of the planetary shield and the beating of 1,000,000 Xylosian hearts. Across the vast gulf of interstellar space, aboard the Earth Vessel 1, Commander Eva Rostova stared at the holographic display, her expression betraying none of the immense pressure she felt. Around her, the bridge crew worked with quiet efficiency, their movements precise and coordinated. The atmosphere was calm, almost serene, a stark contrast to the chaos that undoubtedly reigned on the planet below. "Commander," Lieutenant Chen reported, his voice crisp and professional. "We have received a communication from the Xylosian High Command. They have granted us permission to land." Eva nodded slowly. "Acknowledged, Lieutenant. Prepare for atmospheric entry. Initiate first contact protocols." She turned to her second-in-command, Dr. Jian Li, a xenolinguist and cultural anthropologist whose expertise was crucial to the mission's success. "Dr. Li, your assessment." Jian adjusted his glasses, his gaze thoughtful. "The Xylosians are complex, Commander. Their history is long and fraught with conflict. They are proud, territorial, and deeply suspicious of outsiders. However, they also possess a strong sense of honor and a deep-seated curiosity. I believe a cautious but open approach is our best strategy." Eva considered his words, her mind already formulating a plan. The mission objective was clear: to establish peaceful contact with the Xylosians and to assess their potential as allies in the face of a looming cosmic threat. But she knew that success depended on more than just diplomacy. It required a deep understanding of the Xylosian psyche, an ability to anticipate their reactions and to navigate the treacherous currents of interstellar politics. As the Earth Vessel 1 pierced the Xylosian atmosphere, Eva felt a surge of adrenaline. This was it, the moment of truth. The fate of humanity and perhaps the entire galaxy hung in the balance. The landing site was a vast, sterile platform located on the outskirts of the Xylosian capital. A contingent of Xylosian soldiers, clad in gleaming armor, stood at attention, their energy weapons trained on the approaching vessel. The air crackled with tension. Eva disembarked, followed by Dr. Li and a small team of security personnel. She walked with a measured pace, her gaze unwavering. She wore a simple, unadorned uniform designed to convey competence and professionalism. Her only weapon was her intellect. Xyler stepped forward to meet her, his face a mask of cautious curiosity. "Commander Rostova," he said, his voice formal but respectful. "Welcome to Xylos. I am Xyler, strategist of the Triumvirate." "Strategist Xyler," Eva replied, her voice calm and steady. "It is an honor to be here. We come in peace with a message of hope and a warning of impending danger." Xyler raised an eyebrow. "Danger from whom?" "From the void," Eva said, her voice dropping to a low whisper. "The ancient enemy of all life. They are returning, and they are stronger than ever before." The grand audience chamber of the Xylosian Senate was a symphony of light and shadow, a testament to the architectural prowess of a civilization that had spanned millennia. Senators from across the Xylosian Empire were gathered, their faces etched with concern and uncertainty. The air was thick with anticipation. Eva stood before them, her voice echoing through the vast hall. She spoke of the void, of its insatiable hunger, of its ability to consume entire galaxies. She presented irrefutable evidence, gathered from ancient texts and forgotten archives. She painted a picture of a cosmic threat so immense that it dwarfed all previous conflicts and rivalries. Initially, the senators were skeptical. They had heard tales of cosmic horrors before, whispered by prophets and madmen. But Eva's presentation was different. It was based on science, on logic, on cold, hard facts. And it was delivered with an unwavering conviction that resonated deep within their souls. "We have faced many challenges in our history," Senator Vorlag, a seasoned politician from the outer colonies, said, his voice booming through the hall. "We have overcome countless obstacles. Why should we believe that this threat is any different?" Eva met his gaze, her expression unwavering. "Because the void is not like anything you have ever encountered. It is not a political enemy. It is not a natural disaster. It is a force of pure entropy, seeking to unravel the fabric of reality itself. And if we do not stand together, we will all be consumed." Her words hung in the air, heavy with unspoken implications. The senators exchanged uneasy glances. They knew that Eva was right. They could feel it in their bones. But to unite against such a formidable foe would require a level of cooperation and sacrifice that they had never before achieved. "What do you propose?" Senator Talera, a shrewd negotiator from the merchant guilds, asked, her voice sharp and probing. What can humanity offer us that would justify such a drastic course of action? Eva smiled faintly. We offer knowledge, technology, and a willingness to fight alongside you to the very end. She paused, allowing her words to sink in. But more importantly, we offer something that you desperately need, hope, a belief that even in the face of overwhelming darkness, we can still prevail. The Senate erupted in a cacophony of debate. Some senators argued in favor of an alliance with humanity, while others remained staunchly opposed. The fate of Xylos, and perhaps the galaxy, hung in the balance. Amidst the chaos, Lyra rose to her feet, her voice cutting through the din. I have seen the future, she declared, her eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. I have seen the void, and I have seen humanity standing beside us, fighting with courage and conviction. Together we can face this darkness. Together we can create a future worth fighting for. Her words had a profound impact on the Senate. Lyra's visions were rarely wrong. If she believed that an alliance with humanity was the only path to survival, then they had no choice but to listen. The vote was close, but in the end, the motion to form an alliance with humanity passed. A collective sigh of relief swept through the chamber. The Xylossians had made their choice. They had chosen to stand with humanity against the void. The alliance between humanity and the Xylossians was forged in the crucible of war. Together, they faced the onslaught of the void, their combined forces pushing back against the encroaching darkness. The battles were brutal and unforgiving, fought across countless star systems and in the depths of intergalactic space. But the alliance held firm, their resolve strengthened by each victory and tempered by each loss. Eva Rostova became a symbol of hope for both humanity and the Xylossians. Her strategic brilliance and unwavering courage inspired countless soldiers to fight beyond their limits. She was a true leader, a visionary who could see beyond the immediate conflict and envision a future where all life could thrive in peace and harmony. During a lull in the fighting, Eva found herself on the bridge of a Xylossian warship, gazing out at the swirling chaos of the void. Beside her stood Xyler, his face etched with exhaustion but his eyes still burning with determination. We are holding them back, Xyler said, his voice hoarse. But for how long? Their numbers are endless, their power is terrifying. Eva nodded slowly. I know, but we cannot give up. We have come too far, we have sacrificed too much. We must find a way to defeat them once and for all. She turned to Xyler, her gaze intense. I have a plan, it is risky, it is audacious, but it may be our only chance. Eva's plan was to strike at the heart of the void, to infiltrate their territory and destroy their source of power. It was a suicide mission, but she knew that it was the only way to end the war. Xyler listened intently, his mind racing. He saw the potential for success, but he also recognized the immense danger. It is madness, he said, his voice barely above a whisper. But it might just work. Together, they assembled a team of the most skilled and daring soldiers from both humanity and the Xylossians. They prepared for their mission, knowing that they might never return. As they stood on the precipice of the unknown, Eva turned to her team, her voice filled with emotion. We are about to embark on a journey into the heart of darkness. We will face unimaginable horrors. We will be tested beyond our limits. But we must not falter. We must not give in to fear. We must fight for our future, for our freedom, for the survival of all life in the galaxy. Her words resonated with her team, filling them with a renewed sense of purpose and determination. They were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. They were ready to die for their cause. The team entered the void, their ship cloaked in advanced stealth technology. They navigated through the swirling chaos, avoiding the patrols of void creatures and the traps laid by the enemy. As they drew closer to their target, they encountered resistance. The void creatures attacked with relentless ferocity, their bodies twisted and warped by the dark energy of the void. The team fought bravely, their weapons tearing through the enemy ranks. But the void creatures were too numerous, too powerful. One by one, the members of the team fell, their bodies consumed by the darkness. Eva watched in horror as her friends and comrades were slaughtered. She felt a surge of grief and rage, but she refused to give in to despair. She knew that she had to complete her mission, for their sake and for the sake of the galaxy. She reached the heart of the void, a massive structure pulsating with dark energy. It was the source of the void's power, the engine of its destruction. Eva activated her weapon, a device designed to disrupt the flow of dark energy and destroy the structure from within. The weapon emitted a blinding flash of light, followed by a deafening explosion. The structure crumbled, its dark energy dissipating into nothingness. The void began to shrink, its power waning. Eva had done it. She had destroyed the heart of the void. She had saved the galaxy. But as the void collapsed around her, she knew that she would not escape. She had sacrificed herself to save countless lives. Her last thoughts were of her friends, her family, and the future that she had fought so hard to protect. She died with a smile on her face, knowing that her sacrifice had not been in vain. In the aftermath of the war, the alliance between humanity and the Zalosians blossomed into a lasting peace. The two species worked together to rebuild the shattered galaxies, to heal the wounds inflicted by the void. They shared their knowledge, their technology, and their cultures, creating a new era of prosperity and understanding. Eva Rostova became a legend, a hero whose name would be forever etched in the annals of galactic history. Her sacrifice inspired generations to come, reminding them of the importance of courage, compassion, and unity. But the story of the void was not yet over. As the galaxies recovered, scientists discovered a strange signal emanating from the edge of the known universe. It was a faint signal, almost imperceptible, but it was there. The signal was ancient, older than the void itself. It was a message from a long-forgotten civilization, a warning about a threat even greater than the void. The message spoke of a cosmic entity, a being of unimaginable power that slumbered at the center of the universe. It was a being that could destroy all of reality with a single thought. The message warned that the being was awakening, and that when it awoke, it would consume everything. Humanity and the Zalosians knew that they had to act. They had to find a way to stop the cosmic entity before it was too late. They embarked on a new mission, a journey to the center of the universe to confront the ultimate evil. They knew that the odds were stacked against them, but they refused to give up. They had faced the void and survived. They could face anything. As they journeyed deeper into the unknown, they discovered ancient artifacts and forgotten technologies. They learned about the history of the universe, about the rise and fall of countless civilizations. They realized that they were not alone. There were other species, other civilizations who had also received the message. They were all heading towards the center of the universe to confront the cosmic entity. Together, they formed a new alliance, a coalition of all life in the galaxy. They stood united against the ultimate threat. As they approached the center of the universe, they felt the presence of the cosmic entity. It was a being of pure energy, a being of infinite power. The cosmic entity awoke, its eyes opening for the first time in eons. It gazed upon the alliance of civilizations, its expression inscrutable. The cosmic entity spoke, its voice echoing through the universe. "Who dares disturb my slumber?" The alliance of civilizations responded, their voices united. "We are the protectors of life. We have come to stop you." The cosmic entity laughed, its laughter shaking the foundations of reality. "You cannot stop me. I am the end of all things." The battle began. The alliance of civilizations unleashed their full power against the cosmic entity, their weapons tearing through its energy form. But the cosmic entity was too powerful. It swatted away their attacks with ease, its energy blasts destroying entire fleets of ships. The alliance of civilizations was being decimated. They were losing the battle. Just when all hope seemed lost, a new force arrived on the scene. It was a fleet of ships, unlike anything the Alliance had ever seen. The ships were sleek and elegant, their hulls shimmering with an otherworldly light. They were piloted by beings of pure energy, beings who had transcended their physical forms. The beings of energy joined the battle, their powers combining with those of the alliance of civilizations. Together, they pushed back against the cosmic entity, their attacks weakening its defenses. The beings of energy revealed their true identity. They were the Ancient Ones, the creators of the universe. They had been watching over the galaxies for eons, waiting for the moment when they would be needed. They had come to help the alliance of civilizations defeat the cosmic entity. Together, the Ancient Ones and the alliance of civilizations unleashed their full power against the cosmic entity. Their attacks combined, shattering its energy form and banishing it from the universe. The cosmic entity was defeated. The universe was saved. In the aftermath of the battle, the Ancient Ones revealed the truth about the cosmic entity. It was not a being of pure evil, as they had once believed. It was a force of balance, a necessary component of the cosmic order. The cosmic entity had been created to destroy universes that had become too stagnant, too corrupt. It was a cosmic reset button, ensuring that the cycle of creation and destruction would continue. But the cosmic entity had become corrupted, its purpose twisted. It had begun to destroy universes indiscriminately, without regard for the balance of the cosmos. The Ancient Ones had intervened to stop it, to restore the balance. They had succeeded. The Ancient Ones departed, leaving the alliance of civilizations to rebuild the shattered galaxies. They left behind a message of hope, a message of unity, a message of peace. The alliance of civilizations embraced the message. They worked together to create a new era of prosperity and understanding. They learned from their mistakes, vowing to never again allow the forces of darkness to prevail. And so the galaxies entered a new age, an age of hope, an age of unity, an age of peace. The humans and the Xylosians, along with countless other species, lived together in harmony, their destinies forever intertwined. They had faced the ultimate test and had emerged victorious. They had proven that even in the face of unimaginable darkness, the light of hope could still prevail. But deep within the fabric of reality, a new threat began to stir. A threat far more subtle, far more insidious than anything they had faced before. It was a threat that whispered in the shadows, that preyed on the fears and insecurities of sentient beings. It was the threat of complacency, the threat of stagnation, the threat of forgetting the lessons of the past. And as the galaxies basked in the warmth of peace, this new threat began to grow, slowly but surely, threatening to unravel everything they had built. The engine of total annihilation was not a weapon, nor a being, but a state of mind.